What is up? Welcome back, Distinct Dragons Nation. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button because I upload occasionally cool new videos. I have a new bearded dragon coming in. There's a breaking news for you that you guys are the first to hear about. So I'm going to do an unboxing of that guy or girl here soon. Press the subscribe button. Don't forget to press the notifications bell if you want to see when I upload, and smash the like button because YouTube appreciates that engagement, and so do I. But guys, hang out with me. I'm about to build this melamine or melamine cage, whatever it is. It's gonna be a great cage. So if you guys like that stuff, hang out with me just for a second longer. I'm gonna go over all the list of materials that you will need to make this exact same thing. And guess what? All the links to the materials I used, the dimensions I used are gonna be in the description below. In addition, probably some other products that you guys might want to check out to help you guys find some easier things to buy without having to do the research. It's in the description below. Go check it out. All right, friends, let's talk about all the materials that you are going to need to make a cage out of this stuff right here. Melamine, whatever. Well, all right, so here we go. Here's a quick overview of all the materials you're going to need. I'll also have a link or a description of everything that you're gonna need in the description below. Check out them shoes though. So check out that if you're confused about any of the, lengths of it. We'll talk about the lengths in a minute, but here's all the materials you're gonna need. Let's talk about them one by one. Melamine. You need some of this stuff, okay? It's what it's gonna be made out of. Clearly, you can choose a lot of different things. I like this because it has a vinyl fused bit to the front of it. It has a little bit of texture to it. It's pretty cool. But it's easy to clean, and that's the whole key here, right? So you're gonna need different variations of sizes within your certain product dimensions that you're gonna have. So depending upon the size cage you're trying to build, obviously the sizes are gonna vary. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is the thickness. So when you're measuring out your pieces and you're trying to stack them on top or put them next to it, just keep in mind that these pieces, if you pick them up at your local hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever you have, these guys right here, they are 3/4 inch, okay? That's how thick that they are. So just something to keep in mind. We've got some top pieces, back pieces, extra pieces, inserts to where the windows are gonna be. These are gonna be your side pieces and a back piece as well. Again, there they all are. So, hopefully that's helpful. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. It's not done yet. Hang out for a little bit longer. All right, so now that I'm sitting down on this really comfortable concrete floor, because this is just the softest stuff you've ever felt, let's talk about the materials that you're gonna need to make one of these cages. Here they are real quick. Let's go over them. As I already mentioned, you guys are gonna need a variation of different materials. Obviously, we just talked about your melamine board that you're gonna be needing. You got that. After that, let's talk about this track right here. These, I have a lot of comments about these. So this is gonna be the track that you're gonna use to place your glass or your vinyl, or whatever kind of window you're using inside the track. They come in different styles. This guy is really awesome. I've had a hard time finding a good material for these, but what you're gonna do is pretty much adhere this material onto the track piece, which we'll talk about later, and then you'll have something to slide your glass on, which is cool. These, again, come in different variations of materials. This one is super thin, as you guys can see, which is great for cutting purposes. I've had other materials in the past where you have to, like, hack at it to get it to move at all, and it just won't. So these are typically right next to your glass pieces in your local hardwood store. So take a look, keep an eye out for those. Usually they're a little higher. I do get a lot of questions on where I find that. Found this one in Home Depot. They also have something similar in Lowe's. In addition to that, let's talk about these guys. These are your vents. Your vents are great. You need them. They also come in circular shaped ones, which I prefer, because what you can do is take a bit like this, but obviously it's gonna be a little bit bigger, and just make a hole in your melamine and then insert the circular shaped one in there. With this kind of shape, you're gonna need a jigsaw or something similar, but these are crucial for ventilation. Now, I like these the most because they have this mesh or this wire on the back of them. Can you guys see that? Because it keeps crickets and bugs inside. Isn't that cool? So definitely something to consider. Look for those, again, in your local hardware store. But they have two. I don't know why I bought two, but I got two of these things just in case. I'm gonna return one. I don't know why I bought two. Anyways, onto the screw, the drill. I use this guy. It's great. This one's fantastic because it has a little light to it. DeWalt 20 volt, that's what I got right here. Probably have a link to one of these guys in the description below. highly recommend this. It's great for everything. I mean, everything. And another battery because we're gonna do lots of screwing. Anyways, onto the melamine board. Melamine taping here. This is important for a lot of reasons because on your melamine, you're gonna have a massive amount of just raw exposed material like this when you get it cut. So what you do is you take this guy, as you probably already figured out, cut a certain length to it, and then just literally put this on top. Not like this, gotta open the package. And then iron on the top, and then it will look flawless. It'll be white on white on white on white, and then you're good to go. So lots of that is gonna be used. We'll go over this again soon, but I just wanna go over the list of materials. I have a different variation of sizes of screws that I'll be using. This one right here is the one I'm gonna be using today. It's just gonna be 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inch, because your melamine is gonna be 3/4 inch thick. So you wanna make sure that it not only goes through your first board, but also through your second board, but not all the way through, right? So there's that. The drill bit, the drill bits you're gonna need, just a variation of drill bits, because you have to make a pilot hole. So what a pilot hole is before you just drill one piece to the other piece, you have to make a pilot hole using one of these guys, just so that your screw won't crack and flake off that white vinyl on top. So it's just kind of a safety precaution, but I highly recommend you guys do that. And we'll talk about the sizes that you need, because they do come in variation of different sizes, but it really just depends on the size screw that you use. Anyways, talk more about that later. Drill bits, screws, melamine edging board, screwer, drill. You need vents, or just one vent, and then you need a bit like this to make a hole in the melamine in the backboard, which is going to be, I think it's that one right there. And then this you can use your extension cords with. You can put your extension cord through it and you're good to go. You need a heat bulb, which my first attempt, I'm going to go ahead and try this new Philips 45 watt bulb just to see if it's hot enough. Check your temperatures in your cage, make sure it works well for you. But experiment. This guy is going to be the 3-pack. Saves a little bit of money. I think it's like $3 per bulb. But try it out. Make sure you don't hit the LED bulb. LEDs won't have enough heat for you to, pick it up. So make sure there's not LEDs. This one right here is your porcelain lamp holder. So what's cool about this one is you're going to plug that on the top of your wall, and then the bulb goes into that. What do you know? Of course you knew that. Let's go. Anyways, onward. Some skizzers. Or scissors. You need some of these guys specifically to cut this. You can use shears, you can use a utility knife, but for this track that I picked up, this is perfect. Just some household scissors. It's not too tough. Onward, you've got your extension cord. Extension cord is going to be used in essence to pair this guy up to this guy, and then it'll run out the hole that we made with that guy into your wall outlet. So this is going to power this, which is going to power that on it. You got it? Cool. Now we need a timer. You don't really need one of these. I like it for convenience purposes. In short, it automatically turns on the timer or turns on the lights, and then it shuts the lights off by itself, which is pretty cool. Again, link to one of these is in the description below. Highly recommend those just for convenience factor. They're like 10 bucks or 15 bucks, pretty cheap. You need bubbles because bubbles are life. Just saying, check these guys out. You need these in life for a lot of things. Yeah. Onward. You need some glass pieces. I opted to not pick up glass, but I did pick up, it's like, I don't know what the correct term is for these, honestly. I always get it tripped up. Plexiglass, a vinyl Lexan polycarbonate sheet, one of these things. What does this thing actually say? You guys might like to know this. Lexan polycarbonate sheet. So there's that. There you go. These are gonna be my glass pieces. I opted for these instead of glass because 1, the thickness of them will fit better in the tracks that I bought, and 2, these are actually stronger than glass. And they're lightweight, which is going to be great. We'll see what happens. Heads up, yes, you cannot see through this currently, but what you can do is you can peel back this little bit, and then all of a sudden it's crystal clear. Heads up, when you look for these, don't look for clear glass pieces, but generally these are in the back of the store. On the back wall, or back left wall, back right wall, just depends on which store you go into, obviously. And yeah, in short, that's going to be the list of materials that you need to get started with this project. All your melamine pieces, your screws, your tape, your drill bits, and your glass, your track, and your vent, and your bubbles. Once you guys have all that, you should be pretty set to go for this next step in the process, is actual creating the piece. Let's go. All right, so now that we have all the products and the pieces covered, what we're gonna start doing is building the top with the sides. And I'll show you that in just a second. What I have here is my handy dandy little pink and purple tape measure, just to make sure that my measurements, that the boards I chose are the right boards I'm gonna be putting together, because what I have here on my phone, I'll show you guys this right now, is, hopefully it's in focus, is just the measurements for this board right here. So I'm gonna make sure I keep track of it, measure each one of these pieces before I screw them together. But before we screw them together, we'll make the pilot holes. And again, I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. But I did wanna give you that preface of what I'm about to do so you have a better understanding of it as we continue into it. Here we go.
Voila! Magic! What's up, guys? So I'm going to do a little bit of a voiceover for portions of this video, just so you guys can continue to watch me work, and also just kind of elaborate what I'm doing. Obviously right now I'm measuring, making sure that my right pieces are labeled as such, so I don't attach the bottom to the top, to the left, to the right, just, you know, the right way it's supposed to be. So that one looks good, and I'll do the same thing for every other piece. Right here you're going to see me place these side walls up, balancing themselves, and attempt to put the top piece on, but it's kind of wobbly. Yeah. Good job, Corey. Round two, here we go. That one looks good, and then you're going to take your bottom piece, because you'll flip this upside down, and place it ever so gently on the two side walls, just to place it so you can do the pilot holes.
I have to show you guys this. Look what I found. Look what friend I found in the corner. Can you guys see that? Look. I believe that's a moth. How awesome is that? Pretty cool. Anyways, onward with cage building.
Cool. So right here, guys, I was talking about the pilot holes. That's the size of the diameter you need to make sure that that screw has enough thread on the sides, so you don't drill too big of a hole. So right here, as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and drill those pilot holes, which will allow the screw enough space to still grab within that hole there. So that's what we're going to do all the way around. Cool. So right here, guys, as you can see, this is going to be the bottom piece that's going to allow your bearded dragon to not kind of escape through the bottom, but really more act as a spot for your rails. So if you follow the measurements that I give you in the description below, you'll see that this fits like a glove. It is fantastic. I mean, it just fits in there. Honestly, you wouldn't even need screws, but you can just see right here how flush it is with not only the bottom, but also the right and the left side. So definitely make sure that you guys measure 3 times before you cut once. That's a big tip there for you. This is the back piece I'm installing currently. Same thing, it's extremely snug. So one tip you may have to do here to make sure that it fits really well is just kind of wiggle it back and forth, you know, open up that left or right wall a bit more, and try to just squeeze in one corner at a time, and then go to the opposite side. Yes, just like that. So that side looks good. Double check, you know, make sure it's nice and flush, and you should be good to go. Making more pilot holes, this is important. Same thing, you're going to do pilot holes all the way around every piece of it, even on that side. And then what you'll do is just take your screws, as you probably already figured out, and go ahead and drill in that piece to make it one solid, secure piece. Yes. All right, here we go, installing the back piece again. The first time was not it was not eventful, but you'll see me here try to wiggle it left and right and really try to squeeze that backboard into the cage where it belongs. And it should be this tight when you really want it to be secure, and you really don't have to do too much work for those screws, but it does just make everything a little bit easier. Use that leg if you have to. Yes, that one is a great tip for you. Kick the cage, it helps. But you gotta do. You know, I highly recommend you do this with 2 people, only because it'll expedite the process a little bit more. But one person, as you can see, it works just fine. Just plan accordingly, and know that you're gonna have a little bit of errors. You'll see I use the feeling test quite a bit here. Oh, here we go. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Don't even look at the cage, just feel it. And bounce to the other side, check that as well. You just make sure everything's nice and flush. Nice and flat. Don't want anything that's not supposed to be there, you know, in the wrong portion, or the back piece sticking out too far on the left versus the right. So double check everything and you should be good to go after that. Once you have it all screwed, pilot hold screwed in there, that's going to be the bottom, and it should be looking a lot like this. Nice and flush with the screws. Everything looks solid. You're going to really need maybe 3 or 4 along the sides, and then maybe, you know, 5 or 6 or so on
we
the
have the
top.
majority of the cage built. What you're looking at is the back. That is going to be your left side. This is your right side. Along this channel right here, this is where we're going to place the tracks for the glass to stay. This is the bottom, so what I'm about to do now is drill a hole into the back side of the wall using this drill bit, which you guys have already seen. And really what this is just an inch or an inch and a half. I don't know the correct terminology behind these things, but what you're going to do is just drill a hole into the back so that the cords from the heat lamp and the UVB strip that you're going to be placing on the top side have somewhere to come out of and hide so you can plug it into the wall. So that's what I'm about to do right now. There it is. So one thing to take note is, obviously you guys saw me come from the front and then go through the back. So that's what you're going to want to do so that I'll show you actually, so that this section right here doesn't get all chewed up. Because if you are looking into the cage, that's the side that you'll see where a lot of the vinyl, the white piece here, can flake off. So if you don't do that right, you won't get a nice smooth cut like that. That's pretty smooth. I'll take it. And now it's time for cleanup. So that's what you'll do. So now the extension cord for your heat lamp and your UVB bulb have somewhere to exit. And also that kind of acts like another ventilation. So if you guys are doing those circular ventilations like I talked about with those here, but instead of the rectangle, you're doing the circles, you can do the exact same thing you just did with that. You can put one here and one here, or really wherever on the side walls. Totally up to you. All right, so one quick tip for those of you who may have never built a cage before. This is going to be your top piece, but so that you're not hanging upside down trying to install bulbs and things, you're going to want to go ahead and install the bulb fixture here, the UVB strip there if you have it. I don't have it currently, but that's what you'll do. And then you'll flip it. I'll show you that in a second, so that again, you're not working upside down. It makes it a little bit easier, but let's go ahead and do that now. I'll show you what that's all about.
And see, take my little pinchers, find the cutting section and squeeze pretty easily. Not too bad. Pull it apart, not too far, maybe about 6 or 8 inches or so down. You really don't need too much, but just enough to kind of splice like that.
Find the correct size that you need and strip off a little section of this wire, and I'll show you if I can do it. It might take you a minute, but really that's what you do. You find the right kind of, I guess, size diameter of your wire. You'll wrap it around the wire, squeeze with all your might and pull. That's what we're gonna do here, again, one more time. And the idea is just to grab just enough, that's probably a little bit too, a little bit too much, but just enough to where this wire can still be wrapped around your prongs on your porcelain lamp base. So you'll see that the wire is gonna get a little frayed here. So what I do with this is I take it and I just kind of spin it. And now they won't get frayed. It's a little cleaner, a little less Freddy Krueger-ish, or Edward Scissorhands, if you were an 80s child like me. Here we go. Wrap it up. Cool. Now, you're a certified electrician. Boom! So you take this, you take the bottom half of your shindig here, your thingamabob, your dingle hopper, and you just put one there, and screw it down, and then you're good to go. You'll run this wire out the back of the hole that you just made back there, and now your lamp has power. One thing to note before you do attach the wire is a lot of these extension cords have got a bigger head and then a smaller head. You can kind of see it. It's ever so slight, but that back one is a little bit fatter, right? So what you'll do is you'll just trace that wire all the way down to the opposite side, and then, but one of them is going to go to the copper, one of them is going to go to the silver. If you mess it up, just swap it back and forth, but definitely take a look at do some research on your end of which one works better for you and which one is supposed to go on. Because right now, I'm just going to give it a try. I'm going to say that this one looks good for that one looks good for that one, and we'll hook it up, and hopefully it works. Don't take my word for it. But that's how you do it. Good luck! Alright guys, so you can see that I wrapped it around the bottom half of those terminals. Kind of wrapped it as best as I can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy dandy drill, put one of those here, and you're going to see it tighten it down. Watch. See? 1, 2. That's it. That's all you need. Should be good. Let's check it out, see if it works. Plug it into the wall right here. You guys can't see it most likely. Plug it into the wall. Alright. I don't know what's going to happen. Hey! And there you go. Now it works. Show me how you drill. Show me. Use your little muscles.
Now put it up to it and pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. Go. Oh!
Okay.
Good job. Alright guys, what's up? Now that I've made my ventilation holes, placed my vent where it's going to go, which is right in the middle, all I'm going to do is screw in 6 screws, 6 1/2-inch screws might I add, because you don't want to go all the way through, right? So if you've got longer than 1/2 inch on a 3/4 inch thickness, it'll go all the way out the top. So make your holes, make a massive rectangular shape or whatever, just for ventilation, right? Make a hole and then drill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drills or screws at a 1/2 inch size, and you are good to go. All right, crew, we are coming to an end. We are almost there, which means we have to do this track, okay? So if you've never cut tracks like this before, it can be hard if you do not use the proper tools. So what I recommend for this particular track, again, this one's really thin. I'm gonna try to see if you guys can see this. Come on, baby. Zoom in there. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, there we go. So this is actually really thin stuff. It's not anything that's, you know, overly hard to cut. Before I've used a utility knife and it was just ridiculous with another product. So definitely take a look, see if it's pretty flimsable. This one's really flimsable, and if it's pretty flimsable, I would assume, it's probably safe to assume that it's not too bad to cut. So all I really need is a pair of these, just scissors, kitchen scissors. They do the job. And really what I'm gonna do is just go right down the middle of this track on the right side and on the left side. Cut all the way down to take out this middle track, because that's exactly where the glass pieces are going to slide on. So let me go ahead and do that. Once you do that, all you're really going to do is take that same piece of track and adhere it using, you know, liquid nails, super glue, anything like that, silicone, anything like that that's really going to hold it down. You can leave it overnight as well. You'll put it there. You'll put it on the top part of your track as well, because this is the top, that's the bottom. You'll put one here and then one up here, so that they have something to slide on both sides. Cool? Awesome.
Right on, guys. We are coming to the end. As you can tell, right now I have my melamine stripping tape that you've seen before, and I mentioned it. I'm just measuring the top portion or the bottom portion and just cutting it just a little over the size of the cage. You want a little excess to hang over, so you can take an X-Acto knife and just make it nice and flush and cut off any excess. Again, with the X-Acto knife. That's my daughter. She's adorable. She was helping me a lot with this. I think it definitely helped out with her moral support. But really, here's what you do. You lay the tape right down where you want it to be. And just like that, you take an iron on cotton setting or something hot. And then just gently go over it as if you would be ironing a shirt, honestly. It's that simple, to be honest. It's fun. It's easy. Once you're all done, let it dry for a little bit. Let it harden up. You just apply it, iron it, let it cool, and cut it. You're good to go after that. So here's the cage, it's done! Installing the plexiglass or your glass pieces is super easy. If you use plexiglass, you may have to remove the top, place your plexiglass in there, and then just add the top back on so it fits in the track. Right now, the pieces of material I used for the viewing material, or this glass-like material, the plexiglass, it's really flimsy, but not too flimsy. You just saw me press on it. It's a little firm, but it's flimsy enough to, you know, really bend it just enough to get it on those tracks. And here it is, guys, the final product. You can add the silicone on the inside as well, but make sure you do give it enough time to dry. So that's it. There it is in all its glory. I hope you guys liked this. If it was helpful, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate your guys' support, and I will see you in the next one.